Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we are heading to the most valuable stock market in the Solar 175 universe, Gonza Index. Now we are stock traders in this futuristic dystopia competing to gain the most credit. We'll be purchasing stocks, manipulating prices and gaining powerful broker advantages. This one's low complexity. It plays 1 to 5, 20 to 60 minutes, and we can see the designers and publisher there as well. Let's take a closer look then. Okay, today I have a two-player setup for this run through. We've got the yellows and the blues. Now, what are we doing then? We've got 6 corporations set up, and that will be the same no matter how many players you have. Equally, you'll have 4 broker cards, no matter how many players. You've got an event card here. Now, this just keeps track of the 3 events that will come into, well, the trigger for an event. So there's 3 of these tokens, which are just out of camera view, but this will make sense. And once you trigger the 3rd one, these events will come into play, and you pick 4 to begin with. That determines the length of the game. You can have fewer or more if you wish to have a varied length of play. I've also got more corporation cards just out of camera view, which may come into play if the game dictates or you purchase a broker card that allows those. And we've got more broker cards as well on the side. Now each player will start with some tokens. First player has 1 and every other player has 2, and I've got a host more of these just out of camera view, which you will hopefully attain to give you more power and influence over the corporations and attaining these broker cards. We've got a reference sheet up here which I'll go through, and most importantly the dice, which will dictate the outcomes and the actions we can do. So let's begin then. The yellows are up. They're going to roll these dice, and this is their first roll. So the black dice differs because this is the event dice. On here, you've got 2 E's which represent events, and you've got 1 each of the other actions. Now, if you do roll an E, that is it. You can't re-roll the black dice. So in this case, we're going to take one of these big yellow E's and plonk it on there to show that 1 of 3 have come out, and we're 1/3 of the way to triggering an actual event. We can keep any combination of these and re-roll up to twice if we want to. And you don't have to use any of the actions at the end except this E. Now, if this hadn't have been an E and it had been, say, this corporation one here, I could re-roll that again as well. So we've rolled an E. What are we after? So this icon here will let us take 1 credit. And what are credits? These are these tokens just out of camera view, and the more of these, the better. And they're also worth 1 victory point each at the end as well. So that is how we're going to get more of those. This is how we're going to get those tokens onto the corporation. So this is what that icon is. So we can put 1 of these on 1 of these corporations, and we'll do that in a moment. This one is about broker cards. So you will be placing your tokens on these broker cards dependent on these icons, and then you've got the increase of the valuations for 1 of these corporations. You can increase 1 of them, or you may decrease 1 of them, so you can influence the valuations. So that is literally the icons. So we've rolled, I've probably meddled with a few of them, but let's say I'm going to re-roll all of these again. First re-roll. Now I'm thinking I definitely need some more credits, so I'm going to keep that aside. And I'm not too fussed about influencing the price of 1 of these corporations. I'm just going to give it a final roll, and this is what we got then. Now, in terms of the corporations, they've got these lovely little gold tokens, and they start on this blank spot on each card. So you can see this starts at a value of 1, and so on. And you go up to 7, and potentially down to -4. On this particular one, some of them, you can see this is an odd one. It's actually worth 3 when you get right to the bottom, having gone past the minuses. So keep an eye on the value of these. And you've got these different symbols at the top, which represent the organizations and the industry they're in, which will make an impact when it comes to these events. We'll give you a demonstration of that. Okay, so we've rolled the E, we've put our E on, and you do all this at the end of your go. You don't do, right, I'm doing that, and then roll. You roll all your actions, and then you undertake them. So we're going to take 2 credits. So we're going to get 2 of these into our supply. We're then going to drop the price of, what should we go for? Now, you're obviously looking at what your opponents are in, and you're influencing the price of their corporation. So we're just going to bump this one down to -1, and then we get to put one of our tokens for this broker symbol on one of these 4 cards. And what have we got? Corporate exchange. We can move up to 2 stocks to a different corporation, and these can belong to any player, because once these are on here, they're kind of stuck there unless you can use a broker ability to move them. And there is a capacity on each spot here of 6 in a 2-player game, and it varies as you go through the player count. So 6 combined on here, so you know, a combination of blue and yellow in this case, or if it's all mine, great, but then the other player is probably going to want to influence that price downwards. So we've got these 2, we've reduced that down, and we're going to place one on here. So I've gone through that card. This one, trade insurance, to ignore all losses from one corporation at the end of the game. So if you've got a load of tokens on here and it's worth -2 for each token at the end, this card will help you alleviate the damage, well, limit the damage. Index Hacker. You can change 2 dice to the side of your choice. So some of these are end game, and some of them can be used during play to manipulate the dice in this case. This one plays up to 3 stocks. You must have the credits available to do this. You can literally place them anywhere, having not had the outcomes maybe. So we are going to place one of our tokens on this one here. Okay, and that is it. We then pass this clockwise. Next player is up. What have they got? So blues, we're gonna, well, we quite like these 2. Well, we'll keep one of these because we've already started with 2 credits. Are we going to, we're maybe, well, we're going to re-roll these 4. Now, obviously, the risk of rolling the black dice is you may get an event. So we're kind of happy with these 2 corporations. We want to participate in the broker market, and we're going to keep this one here, which is an increase in one of the stocks. So blue up then, we're going to take our credit. That's that one done. We're going to place 2 of these on corporations. Now, you don't have to. We're going to go for 1 here because it's valued at 2 currently. And the second one, we're going to diversify and come over here. We're then going to place this final one on a broker card. And let's go for the same one. Now, I'll go through what would happen. Well, I'll go through what happens now, so you're in the know. So let's say at the end of an event, and I'll go through some of the details of when you play it, but you're going to be doing an auction for these. Well, the auctions already took place during the round you've placed these tokens on. But essentially, whoever has the most control of these at the end of an event is going to get the card. So if it stays like this, yellows are getting this one and blues are getting this one. These are all discarded and 4 more come out. So after each event, there's going to be 4 new ones out there. Now, if it was this scenario, it's a tie, but whoever at that point triggers the event will break ties. Or if it isn't that player who's triggered the event, and well, neither of these players trigger the event, then they both come off and no one wins it. So that's kind of the power, the balance of power as you try and win these. So we'll leave it there. Then we'll go blue and yellow on that one. Okay. And finally, we're going to increase the price of one of these shares. So we're going to go for one of our own. Let's make this 2. So we've got a 2 and a 2. And over to yellows then. So they've got 2 tokens. We're going to keep one of these to attain a credit. We're going to keep those and roll these 2. Okay, we've got a broker. We're going to have one more roll. There we are, probably a few too many corporations. So we're going to take this token and we're going to place one on, let's go with our competitors, and then another one on here as well. So it's very interesting how the placement of one of these tokens doesn't influence the price. You're literally investing your organization's capital into this organization as such, and it's literally fixed there unless you can get one of these broker cards. So the sway of these is dictated by the ups and downs on the dice and these particular cards as well. Okay, we've got a broker capability. Well, we've got a corporation and a broker. So do we want to commit to one of these or place this value out there? Because this is worth 1 at the end, whereas if we can put it on, say, here, it's now worth 2 if the price stays the same. We are going to go for a broker card, and we're going to go for this one here. Okay, so that's there, go done. Blue is up. Okay, they've got no tokens, so we're probably just going to re-roll the lot because we need credits. So we've got 2 credits here. We've rolled an E, so we have to keep that one fixed. We can't re-roll it. We are going to keep those 2, and let's just give them one final re-roll. Okay, that's what we've ended up with. So we're going to place an E on here. We're going to take 3 credits for blue, and we're going to place 1 on a corporation. We've got a little bit of a race going on these 2. Do we diversify or do we just commit to 1? So maybe we're going to place another one here. So that's 3 of the available 6 that could be on that location. And that's there go, done. Over to yellows. We are needing tokens, so we're going to re-roll these. We'll keep that one. So we're not really wanting to keep these, decreasing the prices because we're invested in the same ones. So you can see how your tactical play might change from game to game. Okay, wow. Okay, we've now certainly got enough credits. So we've got an E as well. And interestingly, that was our last roll. So the E means we've placed 3 down. We're going to take the top event. Now, interestingly, you can see it gives you a little snippet of what is going to be influenced the most on this card. So this particular organisation, you can see at the bottom right, is going to have a big sway. And you can see they vary from round to round. So we have the option to place this event. Now, you can choose when to do this. If we'd have rolled the E relatively early on in our go, we could have maybe revealed this straight away, or we could have waited and continued with our actions. And that is important because if you play it straight away, you'll have open information as to what is under this. If you don't, you might want to get into broker cards early before revealing this. So there's some real power play as to when you reveal this. But we've taken all our re-rolls, so we're going to reveal this now. And all these cards are very similar. They have impacts on the stocks themselves. So you can see this particular icon has no change. This icon here is going to be -1, and we do have some of those out here, this one here. So that corporation is going down 1, and this one as well. We're getting +2 to this corporation, and I think that's the only one there, and no change to the bottom one. So this was minimum wage is lowered, and that is the impact on those various industries. And the artwork is beautiful, and you can see the corporations as probably thematic sense as to the transportation links and where the factories and the production are in terms of what this actual impact has. So this is now discarded. We take these 3 off so we can start again, and we now head over to the auction. So we're bidding for these broker cards, and this is the state of play, folks. And we've literally, yellows have got these 2 and blue have won the other one. So remember, if there's ties, it would have been, or was it yellow in this case, who would have broken the ties. Now, importantly, the tokens you've spent on these go back to your main supply, not to you, unless it was a tie which you lost or you were just beaten by majority. Then they would come back to you. But both of these players won the cards. This one's discarded, and we reveal 4 more. Now, you can only ever have a maximum of 2 of these broker cards in hand at the end of your turn. So if you happen to have 3 in hand now, you can keep those until your actual turn, and at the end of that turn you'll have to have a maximum of 2 in play. Okay, so we can now ignore all losses from one corporation at the end of the game. We've got some trader insurance, and we've got this index hacker which we can use to change 2 dice to the side of our choice, and these guys can move 2 stocks to different corporations. You can use any point on your turn. Okay, so that was the E. Now I've got to get my 4 credits for yellow. That is there, and they are done. So blues are up, and blues are gonna take a credit. They may. Let's cause a bit of bother on the corporation's values. We're gonna. Okay, this is what we're going to do then. We're going to leave it as that. We're going to get a credit. This is blue. We are going to place one of these on, let's go for this corporation here. We are then going to increase the price of this corporation to 3. And we are going to decrease the value of this corporation down by 2. It's valued at 0. Why are we doing that? We've got the biggest stake there. Well, we've got this broker card which lets us move up to 2 stocks to a different corporation. And these can belong to any player. So I can literally move these 2 over here. We've got 5 out of the possible 6. My opponent, if they really want to pursue that, could only fit 1 more of their tokens there, but they're most likely going to want to impact the price of that and have a bigger impact on my corporation's value than the negative loss on their own. So yeah, we discard this and our hand limit is currently 0, so that is fine. Over to yellows then. What have we got? So we got another E. We've got some corporations and we've got that credit there. So we're going to leave it at that. We're going to take this credit and we're going to go and invest. So maybe, see, if we place 1 here, that's 4 versus 2. And if we're basically giving, those extra 2 tokens the value there, and it's very tight in terms of score at the end. So we're probably not going to do that. We're probably going to try and tank that one. And instead, we're going to go here. So we're going to place 1. And we're going to place another 1 there. And then maybe, I would say diversify, but they're all valued at 0 or negative. But that can change throughout the game. Now, it is tricky in a 2-player game. It's you versus, your opponent. 3-4 players and upwards is fascinating as to how the flow of these and the allegiances and what have you. But let's say you'd go through this. Just a run through today. Did I take this token? I don't think I did. I'll add that 1 there. And literally pass that back around. Now, we do have these actions here. What have we got? So we can ignore losses. That's at the end of the game. And we can change 2 of these dice to a side of our choice. So we could have, changed these to brokers and added them to here. So you can see this one. Now move a corporation value market to 0. So if these guys have managed to get it to 7 throughout the game, you could play this one and it moves it to 0. So massive impact. This one at the end of the game, you're going to get 7 credits if you have stocks in all 4 types of organisations. You can earn up to 4 credits straight away. And you can plus 2 value to one of the corporations. So you're vying for these. Especially this one's going to be absolutely competitive to attain. That corporate sabotage. So, yeah, pass the plate. Now, how the game's going to trigger end is you're going to keep going through these E's. These events are going to come out. And once you get to a point that you've played the last one, that player's played their last turn. And, when they're going to play the event on their last turn is crucial as to getting, their final broker on, final tokens on the brokers and corporations. Because, say, blue triggers it in this case, that is it for them. Now, yellow will get 1 more go. And in a 2-player game, they will have 3 dice. It'll be 3 yellow dice. And they'll roll these. Again, like normal, you get 2 re-rolls. And that is it. That you literally will then add up 1 point for each of these tokens you've acquired. Add up any points from these broker cards. For example, this one will get you 4 credits in game. Some of them have, 5 credits at the end of the game. You will then multiply your number of tokens. So here, yellow is going to score 3 times the value of 2 is 6. 7 times 4, big bucks there, and the yellow's only getting the 1 times 7. So you'd add up all that to your money to end game cards. And whoever has the most money is the winner, folks. There we are. That is Gonza Index. Enjoy.